In a world where your attention span is getting shorter and shorter, it has never been more difficult to create a memorable brand. And one of the only ways to truly remain memorable is to associate yourself with something that people see on an everyday basis. One of the easiest ways to do that is to simply use common colors. That's why if I show you a picture of this, or perhaps this, you can guess exactly what music artist I'm referring to. That is the power of color theory. It is an integral part of branding. And the beauty of it is that once you create that association between your brand and a color, you can then take that color and put it on any product, put it on any logo, and suddenly it becomes your brand's version of that. That is the power of color theory. It is the way we form memories and mental associations around certain things. And that just showing you a few random images with no direct text or reference can make you understand what I'm talking about. And that is exactly what we're going to design today using Adobe Express, the quick and easy app to create on-brand content, where we're going to use their logo maker feature to design an asset and logos that are so recognizable by using this color theory that people would associate it with exactly what I'm talking about, almost without even having to read or see anything on the screen. So with that, let's dive into our tutorial on how to use color theory in marketing and design. There are actually two really great ways to use the Adobe Express logo feature. Number one, you can very easily just search logo maker in the search bar. It will instantly pop up, and then you can go and start to design your own logo. It'll give you a screen that talks about, the name of the brand, maybe a particular slogan. So for me, in this example, I'm just going to use Nikki at Night, the name of my channel. And for a slogan, I put the bio in my Instagram. Next, it'll ask you to pick some sort of symbol or visual that you feel represents the brand identity. For me, since my show is called Nikki at Night, I decided to put a little crescent moon or moon type shape because I thought that gave the idea of like a late night show. Then it'll take you to a third window where you talk about the layout. You can give different aesthetic choices like bold or minimal. It also gives you options to choose colors. So if you have a specific color theory or thing that you're trying to lean into, you're welcome to click one. And then it'll generate multiple options. You can also customize from here, so feel free to save multiples, or maybe even combining elements. Maybe you really liked the color on this one, but the font on another one. You can just copy and paste and combine that all into one. The second way is through the home screen. You can start by clicking the plus button. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see the option for Logo Maker. This will take you to a new window and open a lot of the templates for logos on the left-hand side. You can scroll through a few, but also have the option to search for a few specific things. But for this example, I thought it would be fun to try and come up with like our own visual identity for a horror movie. I don't know why, I've just been watching a lot of them lately, and it just felt like a fun and interesting thing to try and design. So my pro tip, as always, is just start scrolling through the templates and searching things that kind of like fit that vibe. You could start with horror movie, but you could also start with just aesthetic choices like maybe dark neon or 80s film, anything that's just going to start to populate the responses with some cool design elements. You can click them, you can save maybe just a font from one or a color or background from another. And then I even started to look into other design elements that aren't logo maker specific. There are so many rich media assets with millions of high quality stock photos, videos, music tracks, and design elements. So I started scrolling through a few different assets. I absolutely loved this sort of like handprint element on like almost like it's touching the camera, touching the screen, like somebody is desperately calling for help. Or this one had this very like ominous television that I thought was so cool, almost as if somebody had to like run away as quickly as possible in the middle of watching TV, and how ominous that would feel. And there's also over 30,000 licensed fonts to choose from, so I'm always pulling multiple options for different type of text or logos, or maybe you just want to save them to use for a different social media asset later on. Like, that's why I always just save them to the brand kit. You can put all of this like horror themed or movie themed stuff into one place. And after that, we're just customizing and combining these elements. You can see how I pulled the font from some of these first ones. We're tying in that sort of hand element that I really loved. There's also more options, again, to use the TV or something else. And just like that, we finished up our design. So all we have left to do is save it as a brand kit. Go ahead to the left sidebar and click brands. Then when you click this sort of plus button, it'll give you a pull down for whatever you want to add, whether that's the colors, a specific font, maybe a template you like, even it an entirely personal designed logo. That way, the next time you're doing anything for your brand or business, you can just open a new file in Adobe Express, click that brand thing again, and boom, all of those things that you saved are already there. So anytime you have to design new assets, new content, anything for that project, you will never have to waste time searching for all of these things again. You can get so much done so much faster. And just like that, after combining all of these things, our design is good to go. You can see how clearly this gives that emotion or look of the brand identity of a horror movie, right? I could even remove the text and put blah, 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 and you would actually somehow like still be able to tell what it was referring to and why that was an image for that type of thing. Again, this is the power of branding. That's what design is. So the next time you're designing something for your brand, try Adobe Express for free at the link in the description of this video. And you can start playing around with these elements of color theory and designing a brand kit to create such a cohesive logo, you can't not recognize it.